Yeah, the skill set is not a question, it's guaranteed. A carpenter when I build songs, I hear my beats. So I write in my overalls and tool belt. Give them heat till I see the walls and the booth melt. That's what I speak about now instead of one day. Eyes on the prize and my bags on the runway. Success on my destination tags. Here are some say, see it when you return. Nah, homie, it's a one-way. They hate it when you start at the same place, but then they get left. I'm like, what you expect? Even my name's great. Like I'ma sit around moving at the same pace. We want the same thing, but we don't go for it the same way. We're like a Mexican on his way to job 4. Just finished washing some dishes about the mop floors. Like if that's what it takes to be the top dog, I ain't complaining about it, I'm getting on board.
I'm chasing my dream to success, I'm on a one-way ticket. My grind, my life, don't tell me how to live it. Champagne nights, strobe lights, and big screens. I'm just living my dream. I'm just living my dream.
I'm like sincere talking to buns. My whole life is about change. I switch it up, make it about face. Still I keep my eyes peeled to wear when around face. Hating cause they know that everything I drop sounds great. Looking for ways to stop me but never found breaks. Wanna rain on my parade, ain't a cloud break. I live my life like a movie that's about fame. So on the DVD is where you see them outtakes. Maybe that's the reason my future gets so downplayed. Chasing steak and potatoes is why I'm out late. Born king, I'm just trying to keep my crown straight. Still coming home to a lady with a frown face. I guess the tag on success is a high price. So I'm proactive, not wait until the time's right. Till my clear skin's 15 in the limelight. I can't let nobody tell me how to live my life.
I'm gonna live my life. I'll do what I like. Champagne nights, strobe lights, and big screens. I'm just living my dream. I'm chasing my dream to success, I'm on a one-way ticket. My grind, my life, don't tell me how to live it. Champagne nights, strobe lights, and big screens. I'm just living my dream. I'm just living my dream. I'm chasing my dream to success, I'm on a one-way ticket. My grind, my life, don't tell me how to live it. Champagne nights, strobe lights, and big screens. I'm just living my dream. I'm just living my dream.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. It's your man's Izzy Bands, aka Israel Mills. You know the deal. This show is Real Spill with Mills. Hey, listen. But today you could call me Brother Salim Ashe Freeman. Yeah. Today I'm gonna be Brother Salim Ashe Freeman. Hey, listen, I never wanted to be this dude. I never wanted to be this guy that I'm gonna have to be today. And I know that this is not gonna be one of my most popular shows, and it's okay. Yo, salute Roach Will, salute Cellulite Podcast. What's going on, brothers? I don't have a whole lot of time today, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to do some pontification upon you today. My suit jacket is in the cleaners because it's 100 degrees where I am and about 80 degrees in my house. And I don't know how you Negroes do it. You wear a suit in the house, and I just can't. I didn't want to wear a suit when I had to wear a suit. I didn't want to do it. It was too hot. Okay, brothers and sisters. But what I will say is this is a distinguished button-up shirt, and I have my Malcolm X Shabar Akbar rimmed glasses. So hopefully you will allow me to pontificate upon you. Now, with all jokes aside, I never wanted to be this guy that I have to be today. Hey, let me shout out my brothers first. Roach Will, what's going on, family? How you doing? What's going on? Cellulite Podcast. Hey, look, man, y'all subscribe to my boy Cellulite Podcast. Cellulite, put your link in the description. Y'all subscribe to him. Listen, y'all tell a friend to come over here, and we're gonna have this conversation today. Jay Prince for president should be over here. I don't know if he's gonna show up or not, but you know what I'm saying. He said he would, so we'll see. We will see. We will see. I hit him with the link in his Instagram like he asked me to, so we will see. So you might be wondering, like, what do you have to talk to J Prince for president about? No. It's not going to be a drama conversation. Nope. It's not going to be about his beef with Team Fatty. I'm not interested in that. What's funny, it was crazy to me, is that we have all these conversations about relations and relationships and interdependence and cooperation between so-called blacks, Black Africans, or Black Hispanics, or Black Americans. And again, I said so-called blacks in the diaspora. And it's brought up over and over again in these spaces, and it seems to be little or no scholarship. There's little to no scholarship. It's little to no reference. It's little to no citing sources. It's little to no giving homage to the ancestors. What's going on, Judah 144? What's good with you, family? And I hate to be this guy. I never wanted to be this guy. It's disturbing to me at best. A lot of opinions, a lot of conjecture, a lot of pseudo-intellectualism, and babble. People are just talking out the side of their neck just to be talking. People just saying shit. I can't. And like I said, I know that this won't be one of my most popular shows. I know that a lot of y'all are going to want to tune off because this is not a drama show. No. This is not a drama show. I'm going to give you people the other side of Israel. I'm going to give you the other side of Israel today. That's why I have my Malcolm Shabar X Akbar rim glasses, because maybe with this distinguished button up, you know, I had to keep them. But maybe because of this distinguished button up in my horned rim glasses, I am now qualified to speak to the people. I put these on just for you. I was going to put on a suit jacket, but it was too damn hot. I'm sweating in this daggone button up. This is a long sleeve button up. I had to roll up my sleeves for this. And I'm sweating in this. It's too damn hot. It's 80 degrees in my house, 100 degrees outside, but I'm doing this for you. I don't have a lot of time. What's up, Lance for Halsey? What's good? I'm doing this for you guys because I can't take it no more, y'all. I'm joking and I'm playing like I normally do. You see, I got my pastor's rag out. Yes. Hit the collection plate, y'all. Hit the collection plate on your way in. We're gonna do a building of this website fund. Yes, we are. But listen, this is what we're gonna do. As always, if you want your comments highlighted and read all stream long, get more bang for your buck. Do it through the Cash App, $Israel Mills, $Israel Mills. Yo, I want to shout out my man's $100,000 man, Black Manta. Yo, shout out to you, Black Manta. You set it off early. Before I even started the show, and I appreciate you, family. You always showing love and support, and I really appreciate you, fam. I'm trying to give the people a little bit of a chance to get in here, So today I will be citing sources. Yes. I'll be citing sources. What's good, Darryl Long? How you doing? Salute to you, my brother. How you doing? I'll be citing sources. It was some very disparaging, disturbing things that were said on J Prince for President live earlier today. It was disturbing. It was, and I just could not sit back any longer. People just saying stuff, conjecture, and a lot of pseudo-intellectual babble. People just saying things. Yo, so before I begin, I like to give homage and thanks to some of the people who have come before me in my family. Nana, love you. I pray you rest in power, rest in peace, and may God grant you paradise. I pray the same for my brother, But at the same time, my aunts and my uncles that have gone before, my great-grandparents, my grandparents that have gone before me, I salute y'all. I pay homage to y'all today. At the same time, I also want to pay homage to Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan, which I'm going to come from today. Shout out to you, my brother, for all my ancestors, for all the things that you have done for us, all the work you've put in, all the scholarship, because you're a doctor and you put in the work. Shout out to you. To Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, shout out to you, great mother, queen, sister. Shout out to you. May you rest in peace. Shout out to you. Ivan Van Sertima, shout out to you, sir. I will be coming from a lot of your materials today. Shout out to you. May you rest in peace. Great, 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 great man that you were. Shout out to you, Dr. John Henrik Clark. Shout out to you, sir. And all the scholarship and all the years that you put into researching and getting this information that I'm going to disseminate as breezy as I can amongst the people. Yo, shout out to you. And shout out to a man who's still with us. I love you dearly, even though I don't know you personally. And I appreciate you immensely. And when I really get together, I pray that you're still here with us, because I would love to do something very special for you. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. Shout out to you, sir. Man, you deserve your flowers. You've been putting in years, decades upon decades. Decades upon decades upon decades.
That boy is good. That boy is
of work. Decades upon decades of research. Decades upon decades of battling and of research and of scholarship. Hey, Auntie J, how you doing? If y'all want, hey, Princessa, how you doing today? Listen, today is going to be a little different. I really don't like being this guy, because I like to be more fun. I like to be more jovial and goofy. I like that. I like to just have a good time and lay back, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. What's going on, Stan Autry? How you doing? I'm sick of the stupidity, the absolutely ignorance, the absolute insanity, the absolute disrespect and disregard for those people who gave their lives, those people who paved the way for us, those people who made a way for us. We just be saying shit. They're just our opinions. No scholarship, no kind of reference, no kind of citing the source, nothing. We're just talking. And it's irresponsible at this point, especially when we broach certain topics. There are people that I've named: Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. James Smalls. There's people who have given their lives, and many, many more. Scholars who have broached these topics of the interpersonal relationship between Africans and so-called Black African Americans. And we just be saying shit because it sounds cute and it sounds good. Oh, the black and black and black. Shut the fuck up. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, man. I can't take this no more. What's wrong with us? Men against women. Old people against young people against the old people, mother against father, father against mother, son against daughter. Yo, when is enough enough? What's up, Killer Swag? What's good? We actually, 216, what's good, family? We actually have people arguing to separate themselves from people who are the same skin tone as them, who want to work with them. Where do they do this at? What part of the game is this? We're not even talking about ops. We're not even talking about people who are against us. We're talking about people who want to work with us and want to do something together. These are the people that we're fighting against. These are the people that will say, "Oh, well, no, you're not a Black American. You're not." Like we have a monopoly on oppression. Like we got the patent on deprivation. Like we are the only people who struggled on this planet. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with us? We'd rather alienate people and ostracize people and condemn people and talk about them and disparage them than to work together. And we think we're going to get something with these small numbers. Even 300 got decimated, and they were trained, built for the war. They lived for it, but they got decimated. What happened to strength in numbers, y'all? Yes, Corey Love. Yes, we are, brother. Yes, we are, Corey Love. Hey, Bird Lady Speaks. Yes, hey, Princess Cammy. Yes, we are, Corey Love. We in the midst of Bible prophecy coming to pass. I believe that wholeheartedly. It says it, father against mother, son against daughter, the father against son, wars and rumors of wars. Up would be down, down would be up. The things that were supposed to be evil and supposed to be not for us will be praised. The people who were good are going to be looked at as evil. It says it. What's going on, Brittany B? How you doing? It says it. I'm sick of it. I can't stand back no more, y'all. We got to stand up. This is ridiculous. It makes no sense. We have Ivan Van Sertima, who had a master's degree, who spent his life in scholarship, made a book called Before Columbus. Then let me, because I'm be coming for some of this stuff. So I'm gonna give y'all a couple of the books so y'all can understand where I'm coming from. And we looking back. What's up, the Food Channel? We're gonna look back at it. So here is some things that you can point to, and all you silly people who talk about, oh, it's in a book. It's in a book. Who they could have manipulated it because it's in a book. Yo, shout out to E Black TV. Man, you have the patience of Job, brother. I don't agree with everything you say, brother, but good gracious. And shout out to Fighter Complex. Because at one time, Fighter Complex, when I first got on, was the only one that was making sense on that stream. And then E Black came on, and he was the only other one making sense on that stream. And I don't agree with everything those brothers say. But on the topics that they were talking about, they were more on point than they weren't. The crazy thing is, we sit here, we debate, we go back and forth, and we make excuses, and we justify alienating people, ostracizing people that look like us all across the world, all across the diaspora, however you want to pronounce it. We justify what's going on, Herd. We justify casting people aside, castigating people, talking shit to them, and just downright being disrespectful. And they look like you. They look like you and people in your family. Oh, you're light skinned. Oh, you're dark skinned. Oh, what? Oh, you're a man. Oh, you're a woman. Oh, what? Listen, whatever you do, it's your business. It's your business. We have people talking about, well, it was in a book, so you believe it just because it's in a book? No, but how? So E Black asked, well, how, if it's not written down, how are you supposed to pass it on from place to place? And why are when they conquer a civilization are the books the first things to be destroyed? Yeah. I had to have the preacher towel because what's up, Bucket 88? What's up, Miss D? Listen, I have to have the preacher towel today because I put on a button up for y'all. I was gonna put on a suit jacket because I know Negroes only like to listen to people who wear suits, and I got a lot of them. But it's 100 degrees outside and about 80 in here. But I put on the distinguished button up for you, and the Malcolm Ali Shabazz Akbar horn rim glasses that y'all have never seen me wear in this great auspicious occasion. But I'm hot than a mug. But anyway, this is for the people. I'm hot than a mug, but okay. I just want y'all to be comfortable. I want y'all to be able to listen and take the message and not be so distracted by the messenger. I just wanted y'all to be able to do this with some Isaiah Jr. because these are not my words. I'm going to be speaking today. These are going to be the words of men much greater than me, men that have paved the way, men that have dedicated decades upon decades of their life, longer than I've even been alive, to the unification of people that look like us all across the globe. Men and women that look like us all across the globe. If we're a small number, how do we expect to win? If we're looking for ways to disqualify each other off the gate, oh, you wear Jordans. Oh, you don't wear a suit. Oh, you wear a hoodie. Oh, you. Oh, you're light. Oh, you're dark. Oh, you're a man. Oh, you're a woman. Oh, you're from Africa. Oh, you're from America. What is wrong with us? What's wrong with us? We sound like some babbling idiots. And then to make it so bad, you got people talking down to people who are talking about books. Oh, well, the oratory form is more, fool. Have you ever played the telephone game in your classroom? And by the time that message goes from child number 1 to child number 10, it's a total different message. And that's in the same damn 10-minute span, 3-minute span. It'd be something totally different. So yeah, you have to write it down. What's going on, Sora Seed? What's going on? Yeah. Thank you, man. I'm glad, Sora Seed, I'm not alone. I'm glad I'm not alone. Like Burley Speaks, hey, Burley Speaks, like you said, it's a whole different message. By the time it gets to the 10th person from the first person, it's a whole different message. And that's in the same classroom at the same time. Yo, y'all put a 1 in the chat room if y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all put a 1 in the chat room if in a seminar or in a class or in anything y'all did that experiment where one person, that the teacher gives or the person gives a message, and then by the 10th person, that message be something totally different. Y'all put a 1 in the chat room if y'all know what I'm talking about. Help me out. Help me out today. Put a 1 in the chat room if y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And if I'm talking some sense right now. What's going on, Chasm? How you doing, man? Thank y'all. Appreciate it. So y'all know I'm not just blowing smoke up y'all butt. So y'all know I'm not just making something up. So this is to all these people who are talking about, oh, well, the oratory and the book, you know, the book. Well, the reason why they have books and the reason why a lot of conquerors have destroyed books in the past is because that is a more official way of transferring knowledge and wisdom. A written form of communication. What's up, D's Nuts? Yeah, help me out. Help me out. Amen. Can I get an amen? Yeah. I'm not going to be before you long, brothers and sisters. I'm not going to be before you. But if you would, let's show people that there is space for scholarship. Let's show people that there is, hey, what's up, Barry White? Let's show people there is space for accurate information and for intelligence, actual intelligence. Y'all hit the Cash App, man, and show some love, because I'll be honest with you. It's hard. This is part of the reason why I never want to be this guy, because when you're this guy, it's a lot of pushback. When you're this guy, it's a lot of challenging, and you have to, you know, go and show what you know, and this, and I never wanted to do all that. There's people who are much better than me, who do a much better job than me, who have done it. But apparently over here, we ain't heard of none of them people. Apparently over here, we have never watched none of them people. Apparently, we give no credence or no acceptance to anything that they have said. So I have been chosen to disseminate their information because most of them are not with us anymore. Most of them have passed. And before you go into, are they boomers? No, they're not boomers. 3 of them are from the greatest generation. 2 of them are from the silent generation. They're not boomers. They're not Gen X. So what now? What now, y'all? What now? They're not Gen X and they're not boomers. So we can leave that division out of it. We can leave that conversation out of it. Dr. Joseph Ben Yakadin, born in 1918. That's the greatest generation, y'all. That's the greatest generation. Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing, and God rest their soul, may they rest in peace. Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing, born in 1935. That's the silent generation, y'all. That's the silent generation. Ivan Van Sertima, God rest his soul, 1935. That's the silent generation, y'all. Silent generation, y'all. Dr. John Henrik Clark, 1915. That's the greatest generation, y'all. And Dr. Claude Anderson, who's still with us. Yo, if y'all can, y'all show some love to Dr. Claude Anderson. He has books. Part of the way that you can show love to Dr. Claude Anderson is by getting his books. He has a book called Powernomics. It's this book right here. Powernomics is a great read and good for the people. Powernomics. He has a book called Black Labor, White Wealth. That's Dr. Claude Anderson. This is how y'all can show love and support to the brother who's still with us. He'll be 88 years old soon in September. May God bless him with continued health and strength. Yo, y'all could get this book, A Black History Reader, Dr. Claude Anderson. Y'all could get this book. Y'all could get this book, Dirty Little Secrets. And he has another book. I don't have the 4th book, but the 5th book, but he has this one, Dirty Little Secrets. So listen, when I'm talking to y'all guys, what's up, Reckless Ray Denero? What's up, AL? When I'm talking to y'all, right? What's going on? No doubt. Salute to you, 64 ECG, no doubt. Listen, if y'all don't have those books, go to his website and support him and buy those books. He's still with us, y'all. He's still with us. He's 88 years. He'll be 88 years old on his birthday. I believe he's 87. He'll be 88 on his birthday. He's still with us. Let's show him some love. Let's show him some support. Let's start back supporting each other and loving each other. So out of these 5 people who I'm going to be talking about in this brief session, because I know, well, let me do this for y'all. I got y'all. I know y'all need a tinge of ratchetness. I know y'all need a tinge of relief. So before I go all the way in, I got y'all. I got something for you, okay? Before I go all the way in, a little bit of ratchetness. Here you go.
Guard the shit, nigga. Put your dukes up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't look at me like that. Hold your shit up. Like this, put your dukes up. Oh. So lesson number 2 is going to be, see what I'm saying? Hold your dukes up. Like this. Like this here, son. Hold them up like this here. You don't want nobody all off in your shit. So now, lesson number 2. Find your open space to land a shot on your opponent. You know what I'm saying? You got to find you somewhere for you to get in, Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's go. Pop, motherfucker, you. Pop, you motherfucker, you. Pop, you motherfucker, you. Pop, you motherfucker, you. You done lost your motherfucking mind.
Yo, did he just pull out on him?
You lost your motherfucking
Yo, did he just pull out on it? He just pulled out on his son. He was about to blast. Hey, listen, that was crazy. But that's what a lot of us are like. Yo, I had to give y'all a little bit. I know too much scholarship, and Negroes want to tune out. I know. I got y'all. That's why I try to keep it entertaining around here. I got y'all. I understand. I know how it is. Trust me. And listen, so But that's how a lot of us are. A lot of us throw a lot of pop shots. A lot of us throw a lot of sneak disses, a lot of pop shots, a lot of But as soon as someone does it back, as soon as someone gives us one good slap back, oh, you want to take it to a whole nother level. But you started this stuff. You was throwing sneak disses. You was throwing pop shots. You kept going and going and going. And the person wasn't there for that. But then when you get your ass smacked for real and get your ass smacked down, then you got a problem. Let's move on. Let's move on. Yo, the ISIS papers, Dr. Francis Cresswellson. All right. And she, of course, she's done several books. My man, Dr. Ben, God rest his soul. The Black Man of the Nile. God rest his soul. And of course I got this. Y'all know I got the Willie Lynch letters too. Of course I got it. But still, the only person's book I don't have here is from Dr. John Henry Clark. And someone got my Ivan Van Sertima book, which I had. But I'm just showing you guys to show you, hey, yo, shout out to B Magic, man. Thank you very much for the love, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Listen, y'all show some love through the Cash App, $ Israel Mills, $ Israel Mills. And let's prove that there's some room for scholarship. So I'm just showing you guys to show you that I'm not a person that's just talking. Now you might say, oh nigga, why you got them books? Don't you know this Audible? Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that most of these books are not on Audible? Well, oh nigga, don't you know that you can get a lot of these books on YouTube? Yes, you can. Yes, you can get access to a lot of these books on YouTube. But as Black people, we should still support each other. We should still read it for ourselves. Don't get someone else's interpretation of it. And I'm telling you, even today, as I'm breaking this stuff down, don't just take my word for it. That's why I'm giving you the actual books so that you can go and you can research it for yourself. You could go and get your interpretation for yourself. It's important. It's important for you to look and see for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, even though I'm gonna cite my sources, even though I'm gonna break it down. All right. Like I said, this is really not the guy I want to be, but here we go anyway. Hate to be this guy, but it just was so much pseudo intellectual stuff going on. So I'm gonna be coming mostly from Ivan Van Sertima. All right. Ivan Van Sertima's book, They Came Before Columbus, presents evidence that African explorers may have reached the Americas before Columbus. Okay. Hey, what's up, Snuggles? 668, how you doing? So there goes that thing about people talking about Indians. Well, the people that were here were not really Indians if you do the research. You could call them aboriginals or you could call them indigenous people. And if you know anything about the history of the world, then you know that people of dark hue and dark skin were the original people. They traversed the globe and they traveled way before Columbus. Now, some of these people are known as Moor or Moorish, right? Now, there's an argument because Moors were often called Muslims. There's an argument. I got you, Jay Prince. Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring you up. Salute to you, family, for keeping your word. There's an argument that these people, these Moors, these Moorish people were Arabs because they were referred to as Muslims. What most people don't know is Islam started in Africa. It started in Africa. Many of the Africans, even to this day, are Muslims. So those Moors who conquered in Spain and Italy from the 8th century. Excuse me. I apologize. Hold on. Let me get my facts straight. The basic point is one area was 200 years, and another area it was 515 years. It was total of about a 715 to 50 year reign, depending on who you ask, that the Moor or the Moorish had in Europe, meaning Spain and Italy. I'm gonna bring Jay Prince up. Jay Prince, give me 1 second. What's going on, family? How you doing, man?
What's up, Iz? What's the word?
What's going on, man? Let me finish, and then I'm gonna tell you why I brought you on. Now I want you to get in here too, okay? And I wanted to ask you some questions and give you the opportunity to ask some questions as well.
All right.
So the Moors. So what happened was, the Moors were in Europe. These were black people that conquered in Europe before the Dark Ages, from about 800 or the 8th century to about the 15th century. Okay. And ironically, the first so-called black indentured servants that were brought to the island of Hispaniola, which is present-day Haiti / Dominican Republic, which is the same damn island, only separated by a freaking imaginary line. It's no line that separates Haiti and Dominican Republic. It's the same landmass. It was called the island of Hispaniola. Those indentured servants were said to have been brought there, ironically, around 1516 to 1519. And that was the first so-called transatlantic slave trade. That was after they got ran up. The Moors got ran up out of Italy and Spain by Queen Isabella and her troops. And then this so-called transatlantic slave trade had begun. Now, if you notice, I've referenced Ivan Van Sertima's book first, that came before Columbus, because before that, there were already so-called black people here that a lot of people refer to as quote-unquote Indians, which we already know that they were not Indians. They were indigenous people or aboriginals. They had been here for centuries and centuries and centuries. Yo, shout out to KGY. Shout out to Reese Neal. What's up? Shout out to Smiling Eyes 53. All right. So I know, hey, yo, listen, I know now that Jay Prince is simulcasting. I know now I won't be fooled. So Jay Prince is simulcasting. So, you know what I'm saying? I can see y'all. Salute to Jay Prince and Jay Prince chat. Salute to y'all. If y'all would, if we can, let's have a respectful dialogue, a respectful conversation. All right. I appreciate y'all. All right. So that's showing that those are the same people that was there, the same people that was here, and the same people, some of those same people were still in Africa. Those were the same people. Just for the record, right? Yo, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you. Yo, I appreciate you, fam. Yo, whoever, E, thank you for the cash out. I appreciate you. Are your people from Trinidad? Are your people from Trinidad and Tobago? Holla at me, E. I want to holler at you. Hey, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, though. Yo, so listen. So we have established, and again, these are not my words, but this is through scholarship and through research, that the Moors or the Moorish, and there was especially on the island of Sicily, right? And that's why you have a lot of Sicilians who are darker skinned, right? And then you had a lot of the Aboriginals, so-called Indians in this land, who were darker skinned, of a darker hue. And you have Africans and people in Haiti and Dominican Republic, a lot of them look alike all throughout the diaspora, all throughout it. But the first so-called slaves or indentured servitudes that were actually brought from Africa to this quote-unquote new land were brought to the island of Hispaniola, which is present day Haiti / Dominican Republic. So I wanted to establish that first, and then we could go forward. Yo, so Jay Prince, there was a lot of things that was said over on your chat earlier, right? I didn't get a chance to hear everything. But part of the issue that I have personally is that a lot of people just say stuff, but they don't cite any sources, and they're just coming from their own opinion or what they think, right? They don't lean on anybody who's come before them. And then there's a total disrespect and a total neglect of books and academic scholarship. So I want you to be able to get in. What's up, L.A. Wilkes, the
What?
thin black line?
Well, when you talk about sources, when we think about history, and especially when we reference stuff that's happened hundreds and hundreds, all the way up to thousands of years ago, books, people that came before us is in the same position that we are in. We just going off what people done told us. And I used to ask this question. I was asked a few people this question, like, could books be a lie? Because only thing a book is people like me, you, and these so-called researchers gather information. We don't know where they gather their information from. We don't know the information that they have gathered was actual facts, and they just regurgitate a lot of stuff and put it in books for stuff that happened hundreds of years ago, almost thousands of years ago. How are you able to tell exactly what took place, and nobody wasn't there to actually know it for a fact? So when we talk about history, we can only go off our opinion, what sounds good to us, meaning that nobody can call nobody ignorant or stupid of information, and we cannot say certain information about history in the past is a fact because just because you read it out of a book, books don't necessarily mean it's a fact because it's in a book. Anything can be put in a book.
Okay, let's go with that line of thinking. Yo, Barry White, thank you. I got it. Yes, it does work. So I appreciate you. I appreciate that. That's my cash app. Thank you, fam. Barry White. So if you want to send something, I appreciate it. That's the right one. So let's go with your line of thinking, right, Jay Prince?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Do you think? Well, let me start like this. I asked my chat, so let me ask you. Have you ever played that game where the teacher or someone in the front of the room will say something to one person and then they have to pass the message down all across the line?
Like a rumor. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens from the teacher to about the 10th or 11th person? What happens to that?
The whole story ended up changed.
A whole different story, right?
Yep.
It'd be something totally different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, and with that in mind, would you trust spoken word more or from generation to generation, or would you trust a written set of things from generation to generation? Which one would you trust more? Just for the sake of conversation.
Well, I will trust something that's written down. However, if it's not coming from the people that actually, like, for an example, if you written down something about your life stories to your grandkids and passing on to your grandkids, mm-hmm. It could be somewhat believable because you actually written it down. Mm-hmm. Now, imagine somebody that came generations after you saying how you used to be, and don't even know you. Never even been around. You weren't even live when you was here. Passed down, writing down books, writing down information on how Israel used to be, mm-hmm. in his personal life. They don't know it for a fact. They just going off part what people done told them. And then how could the information that was thousands of years ago, mind you, all those people dead. Mm-hmm. Died. A lot of them didn't even think to write down everything that they have done out of their life. Everything. And then we don't check the character of the person. You gotta mind you, the same people that's giving us a lot of books, they always have been thieves. They always have been colonizers. They always have been murderers. They always have been untrustworthy people. Because if I was a thief, if I was a murderer, if I was a liar, you wouldn't believe nothing I say.
Mhm.
So why do we give these people the benefit of the doubt?
Okay. So that's a good question. Those are good questions. So, but you did admit and you did assert that you would believe you would believe the written word more than you would believe the spoken word, right? That's correct, right? I
Yeah,
just
I
don't
would
want
put
to mischaracterize.
category.
Okay. So let me show you this. Okay. So this is a book by Booker T. Washington. This is called Up from Slavery. This is in his own words. This is his book that he wrote himself. This is a book by W.E.B. Du Bois, The Soul of Black Folks. He wrote this himself. Dr. Claude Anderson is 88 years old. He wrote these books himself. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was born in 1935. She wrote this herself. And a lot of this, if you read the ISIS papers, was about things that were going on in the 70s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Dr. Ben Yakanan, right? He writes a lot about your favorite subject, Egypt and Egyptology and so forth and so on, and Africa and the Northern African different civilizations that came through there. He was born in 1918. Rest in peace, rest in power. So what I'm saying to you is, besides, as Bird Lady Speaks said in the comments, there were a lot of people who had diaries, letters, and different things that were passed down, written word that were passed down for generation to generation. Some of them are in museums. Some of them have been let people to restore it and let people make copies of it, and then they kept it in their families. Some of it is in displays. So there are actual dated information that is in written form that shows that a lot of these stories are in fact factual. Now, another thing, in the caves or even in the tombs, the pyramids of Egypt, there was the hieroglyphics. You spoke on that a lot, right? Were there not?
Right.
So that was a written form of language that they used during that time to tell the stories. Now, a lot of it, you and I don't necessarily know what it was saying, but there are people who go and go and they interpret it, and they're able to interpret it. You know why? Because, like with the Quran is in its original language, which is Arabic. That's always been the language that the Quran is in. So what I'm saying is, there's certain books, certain things that are amongst with us that have been the same and have not been tampered with. I understand what you're saying, like when you go from Aramaic to Hebrew, and then you go from Hebrew to Latin or Voltaire or the Greek, and then you go from the Greek to Voltaire, the Latin, the lexicon to the English. Then a lot gets lost in translation, and a lot gets shifted. Then besides that, you have to look at Emperor Constantine and the Council of Nicaea and the Ephemeral Council and so forth and so on. I get all of that. And King James and the King James Version, who commissioned those people to get together to write those books or to curate those books. I understand what you're saying. At the same time, a lot of those things that were in that Bible or that were in certain books were in written form, and those people came across those things and they put those books together. That's why, if you know, and just using the Bible as a reference, the Bible is not one book. The Bible is a collection of 66 books. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of those books that were written or in some kind of written form from people who actually were there. Not commentators, not spectators, not people who came around thousands of years later.
I like to challenge that.
Okay. Hey Gina, how you doing?
One, when you talk about like when people had a diary, I got two things. One, when you talk about when people have a diary, a lot of times people explain stories based on their feelings. based on their perspective of what took place. Don't mean it's the truth, but your feelings is the truth. But your feelings can also be inaccurate, and so that's just an opinion. You can't go off based on what people how just because I write something in my diary or my journal. I mean, let's say I write something in my journal and I feel and I'm telling a bunch of stories. Well, Ed said this about me, Sasha said this about me, and did this. They is these type of people. Now, since it's 100 years later, although I was here at that time, my feelings could have been inaccurate. That's one. Two, when you talk about the people that was in those books in the Bible, actually the Bible is missing 60 books. All throughout the Bible referenced another book that's not in the book. So that's a big contradiction. Two, those people didn't exist in those days when that's that type of the stories that was told in that Bible. Though that stuff had been happened thousands of years before Christianity was even thought of. Way before the Council of Nicaea.
Right.
And,
Well, let me clarify. Let me clarify real quick, Jay Prince. I agree with that. That's what I said. But what I'm saying is what they did was they collected the books that were around at that time and they put those books together and they came up with what we know as the modern day Bible. I agree that there might been, hold on. I agree that there might been some books that were left out or some collection of works that were left out, whether on purpose or whether not intentional. I'm not casting those aspersions, but what I am saying is I agree with you, but I'm saying that I'm subscribing that they did not write those books then at the Council of Nicaea, the Ecumenical Council. They didn't write those books then. What they did was they collected the works that were already written from the time that they were written, and they put them together. That's what I'm saying.
see,
They
one
didn't
thing I
write
know,
those books then.
right? One thing I know what the Bible consists of, and the Bible consists of a whole bunch of hieroglyphic stories, and a lot of those stories that was considered to be
Yeah, allegorical.
because when you read the hieroglyphics, the stuff that's carved in is it's like allegory. The stuff that's erased, like poking out, is more real, or it might be vice versa, like actual stories. Um, the Bibles consist of all of the information from the hieroglyphics, and what they did was they went into the constant Serapis. That's how we got Serapis.
You mean
The
Ostracize? You talking what you're talking about?
Constantine.
Ptolemy. So what you're talking about? So people
Oh,
know you're
fair.
talking about Ptolemy the First, who was Alexander the Great's first general, who became the first alleged white or European pharaoh, which he couldn't be the pharaoh. So they
Right.
named him Oserapis, which was a bull, and they gave him a cup to put on his head. Yo, bro, you listen. I'm trying to let you know that you're not talking to the uninitiated. I'm trying to let you know that I keep it real breezy.
Yeah,
But I know my shit.
right. I just wanted to soter. He get his name from the couple of pharaohs, but when they was over there taking when Egypt got in war with each other with I believe with the Nubians and stuff, it left the field open. So when they finally did came in and took over, they was asking the Egyptians, what's this mean? What this mean? The Egyptians at first didn't want to tell them. Then eventually, we had sellouts because they started chopping people's heads off, and a lot of people. Then a lot of Egypt said, "This mean this mean that, this mean that." So they wanted Serapis to make him a pharaoh, but the Egyptian one, they was like, "Man, y'all weren't even here when this stuff took place. We ain't finna make y'all no pharaoh." That's when you start chopping off people's head.
Right.
And so they start telling what the hieroglyphics meant. So that's how they came up with the first Christianity guide, which was Serapis. And they made an image of him, which is the image is of Jesus with a cup over his head.
Right, which they put the
Now,
halo, which they made it a halo later. It's you know what I'm saying. They made it a halo later, and that was after Oserapis, which is Ptolemy the First. But go ahead, yeah.
yeah, it was a black dude during that time. It was a black dude named Aries, and he was going around saying, "Wait a minute, y'all. the books, the religion that y'all are
Well, you
worshiping.
skip. Wait. Hold on. Time out. You skip because Aries was the Ethiopian. Aries was an Ethiopian from
Well, that's what they call him.
right.
They
But
call him. He
Aries.
was
But
actually
hold
Egyptian.
on, real quick, because you about to say some misinformation. That was later. Aries was the one that was going to the Ephemeral Council and to the Council of Nicaea and telling them, "Look, y'all can't do this. What y'all doing is wrong." Aries went to them. He didn't go to Ptolemy the first.
Yeah, what are you saying? Like they was practicing a deaf religion,
Idol worship. Yes.
And so what they did was they burned down all the books of Aries books because people were starting to believe Aries.
In Alexandria, in the Temple of Addendum, in the Temple in Alexandria, they burned the books. Yes.
Yeah, and then if you got caught with his books, the consequences was death.
Okay.
So it's still something like that now. So the Council of Nicaea is very deep.
Okay.
And then when you speak about that 16, it was something about 1411 or 1611. I don't want to get too deep off into that because that's something different. But what I'm basically trying to say, that's another reason why you should second guess on who put stuff in a book. Because now when you talk about the Bible, that book come from theft. All of those stories were stolen, and what they did was they gathered information from the hieroglyphics and they put stuff in their own words. It's like if I want to start a business plan and I Google business plan and I bumped up across Israel business plan, and what I would do is I would take out information, add information, put it in my own words, and feed it back to you under my ethnicity. That's the only thing they have done. None of that stories is new. It didn't come from Chris. It didn't come from Jacob, Luke, Mark, Matthew, Jesus. None of them people even existed in those stories. Because if you read a lot of those stories in the in the Bible, it's a complete copy of the hieroglyphics.
Okay. Well, cool.
It's complete theft.
Okay. Now let me if you will bear with me. Let me read a couple of these super chats and these cash apps, and then we're gonna go for it. I wanted to address that. Okay, that cool?
Yep.
Yo, shout out to you, Jay Prince. This is a dope conversation. Yo, shout out to everybody who's here. Like I said, hey, listen, we can have real conversations. I appreciate y'all. Y'all showing it. My man Robert Platinum showing out, man. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. He said for live stream, as I promised. You did promise. You're a man of your word. What up, Israel Mills? Promise kept, my G. The promise is kept. You're a man of your word, a real one. And I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. My man, Jay Jermaine, paying dues as always, my G. Yo, salute to you, Jay Jermaine. Always showing love and support. I appreciate you. Hey, listen. History, my man Armando said history is a set of lies agreed upon. Napoleon Bonaparte. Hey, yo, shout out to you. So let me also read this because my people said a couple of things. A lot going on in the chat. Listen, if y'all want your comments highlighted and read throughout this, then we are going to, you have to hit the Cash App $ Israel Mills, and I will highlight and read your comments throughout the stream. Also, if you want to show some love through the Cash App $ Israel Mills. Hey, so Jay Jermaine says Serapis was done by the Roman Greeks, bro. Yeah. Yo, shout out to Stan Autry always. Yo, shout out to you, family. Shout out to my man Crown Heights Brainiacs. He said, "Crown JP makes me sleepy. He's intellectually dishonest and slow at sometimes." Well, no, I don't want. Let's don't do that, y'all. Let's don't do that. Let's make room because Jay Prince is on his best behavior and he's not entirely wrong. See, this is the thing. He's not entirely wrong in what he's saying. And I want to get to some of that. I can't go too deep into it, but I want to get to the surface level of it, if that's cool with y'all. All right. Answer this way. Why, out of all the gods, why does this culture and other nations hate Yeshua, aka Jesus? Yeah, Yeshua. There's no hate towards Buddha, Allah, or whatever. It's only the Messiah of the Bible. Yo, that's a Jay Jermaine. Shout out to Jay Jermaine. That's interesting. B Magic said, for a majority of my life, I thought one of the 10 commandments was thou shalt not kill, but the proper translation is thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not. That's true. Terminology is very important It can create or destroy. Yo, that's so true. That's so true. That's so true. Thank you to Gina789. I appreciate you for that $20 super sick assist. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My man Stan Archery said, we cannot continue to blame our failures on the past. Make better decisions in life. Yo, shout out to that. And let Jay Prince live, y'all. Yeah. My man Jay Jermaine said, let Jay Prince live. Let him live, because he's not entirely wrong, right? But what I will say is this, Jay Prince. Let's just go from here. I'm gonna go with what you're saying, right? Not that I agree with everything, for the record, for everybody. Not that I agree with everything you're saying. But let's just say they took what was on the hieroglyphs in the pyramids and they translated it and transcribed it and put it in the Bible and books like that, right?
What?
If we did not take it literally, and if we did not take it as a history book, so to speak, but we took it and we learned the lessons of it, of the stories that were being told, would we not be better or in a better position?
I could somewhat contest to that. It's not what you essentially what you're saying is go off the context of the message of what they was trying to say, because a lot of those stories is symbolic to the bottom line. So I could concede with that. Now, like for an example, when they talk about that one comment when he say why everybody hating on Jesus, because Jesus was a guy named made from a guy named Horus or Heru. In the stories about Horus and Heru, the stories about Jesus was also mimicked from Osiris. Like one specific thing, how Jesus was the beginning, present, and the end, and he died and rose again. That same story was told about Osiris. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and God is some all that other stuff. That same story.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word dwelt among us and became flesh.
Right, and that same story was told about Osiris. So like here go one more thing I want to add to this. When you say Jesus was the firstborn baby, he was born
immaculately conceived. You talking about immaculately conceived?
Immaculate conception. Now,
wait. Now, even the Bible says that. Even the Bible alludes to that's not true, because it says Jesus was born after the order of Melchizedek. So there was at least two other beings that were born in that way, even according to the Bible. But most people have to study, and that's a little above most people's head. So I don't want to get into the deep sciences of the Bible or to debate those facts. I want to kind of keep it surface level if we can.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was just going to relay the story of Osiris and Horus and Isis, and then the Set, which is the pig, how they got the virgin-born baby of Horus. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by a lot of those stories was stolen and manipulated. But if we want to go off the context and the message, and this is another thing that I want to add to this. Mm-hmm. Osiris, Horus, Isis never existed. So the people that Jesus come from is a complete copy from. Those people never existed. Osiris, Isis, and Heru was allegory.
Of course.
So if they are allegory,
so is the Bible.
So is Jesus will be an allegory, meaning myth. They didn't worship. They didn't worship Osiris. They were just stories. The stories about Osiris and Heru and Isis. They were just stories, but the Bible made it real when they talk about Jesus, like Jesus was actually real. No, the guy who Jesus come from was an allegory, meaning myth. So if that guy is a myth, Jesus is a myth.
Okay, but listen, I don't like that's kind of different than the conversation I really want to
No,
have. Because wait 1 second, Jay Prince. Because to be honest with you, there's no way that you nor I, especially in the amount. Hold on, real quick. Especially in the amount of time that I have, there's no way that you or I could substantiate that argument. And I really don't want to go there because that's more of a deeper, very deep conversation. You know what I'm saying? What I want to stay to is, and Jay Jermaine had something to say, but I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole because that again is divisive, right? What I want to keep it to is why we push people away, other people that look like us and actually want to work with us instead of working with them. So give me one moment and let's bring it back. Let's bring it back in because the conversation of Jesus, you know how black people feel about their Jesus. And then to go through that and try to do and explain all that and go through that, that's something that we could be all day. They've been debating that, going through that for 100 years, and still nobody has come to a common consensus. So, and there's men with way more scholarship, way more knowledge than me have broached that topic. So I really don't want to go there. I want to keep it kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Is only thing I was just referencing that just to go to tell you that when you got now these guys put it in a book, and just because we was programmed to love this man and program and feared us to believe in him, because a lot of us was feared. If you didn't believe in him, you automatically assumed that you was going to hell. So they use fear tactics and indoctrination on top of the fear, what make us still worship that God today. So when we talk about what's the truth, just because it's in a book, don't make the book a fact.
I understand. But okay, so the Bible is like, all I was saying was I was trying to get, because y'all mentioned the Bible. I really didn't want to go into the Bible per se, because I picked the books by Dr. Claude Anderson. I picked up books by Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. I picked up books by Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan. I picked up. I'm referring to stuff by Ivan Van Sertima, and I'm referring to stuff by Dr. John Henry Clark. So those are people who lived in our lifetime and who died. A lot of them, except for Dr. Claude Anderson, in our lifetime. Salute to them. And I want to keep it kind of in there. Shout out to Stan Archery, my brother. He said, fam, give him pushback on his live. Hey, okay. But no doubt. Shout out to Jay Jermaine. He said, no, wrong. So why, once again, don't they hate on Horus or Osiris worldwide? That's another conversation for another day, Jay Jermaine. I really don't want to dive into that because, again, I really don't have the time. I'll be honest with you. I got to pick up my son relatively soon. So I really don't have the time, and I don't even want to go there, to be honest with you. Ham's son, Cush, Kingdom of Cush, Nubian, modern day Sudan, put Ethiopia or Libya, depending on historian, Canaan, ancient Canaan, land of Palestine, Jordan, Mizraim, ancient Egypt, modern Egypt. Okay. Yeah. So he's breaking down. He's just showing you that a lot of those places that they're talking about in the Bible do still exist. But again, that's a whole nother conversation, y'all. Make that live this morning make sense. Yeah. Now that's what I want to talk about. I really want to stay there, Stan Archery, about the live that was going on, and then how they were it was a lot of people pontificating, saying stuff that just didn't make sense, and it was not substantiated by anything. They were just stating opinion. Like one of the things, an example, PH Diva calls herself PH Diva, which is crazy. She calls herself a PH Diva, right? Like she has a PhD. And she was spewing things against Friday Complex that didn't even make any sense. She was trying to make it seem, she was coming from the standpoint, which I know a lot of times you come from this standpoint as well, Jay Prince, that, well, because people in and around the diaspora did not have the same kind of pain or trauma or experience that so-called black people, because I don't like getting it, but so-called black people in America had, then, and what have they done for us, and what have they done for the struggle, and what have they done for the liberation of black people? I can argue and I could tell you that there were people that were working, people in Africa, in some countries in Africa, that were working with people in the United States to try to get Black people liberated. That was the Pan-African movement. I could tell you that there were people of Afro-Latinos, if you will, in and around Haiti, in and around Dominican Republic, in and around some of the other islands that were working with people in the United States to get Black people free. I could tell you that people in Cuba were working and still work. And that's, that's why those relations are the way they are, to get Black people, so-called Black people, free from the so-called plantation. So, and I could show you.
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And even in their own countries, they don't fuck with the darker complected people.
Well, you're going off of conjecture. Okay, so you're going off of conjecture and hearsay. So bear with me before you go there. So most of us are American in here, not African. Yo, that's true. That's true. Like part of my family, what's up, Trigger Mike? What's going on? What's going on, Trigger Mike? How you doing, fam? Part of my family came over from Africa, and the other part of my family was already here in these lands and on these lands. So yes, that is true. All right. Robert Platinum, $5. Thank you. Egypt's, Nubia's, Canaan's, is Ethiopian's patriarchs founder were liberal brothers. So Egypt had to be a Black nation at founding. Hey, it was, but that's a whole nother subject, brother. I really need to write my book about this. LOL. Yeah, no doubt. Definitely. Bro played a video clowning us in America. What was that? I didn't see that. Who played a video? Jay Prince, you played a video clowning us in America?
Yeah, it was this guy, white guy. I forgot his name. Something he was basically like telling, like, explain when y'all say America is the greatest country, and you start breaking down why America not a greater country.
And Stan Autry said, we got Mandela out, and that's true. We're still going through our struggle, but we did help get Mandela out. We did help get Stephen Biko free. We did help to the stop of apartheid in South Africa. That was a big thing. And we, as Black Americans and as Americans, did fight hard for them, and a lot of them did fight hard for us. So I just hate the divisiveness. I'll be honest with you. I hate the divisiveness, the divide and conquer, because listen, if you can, my man Stan Archer said facts. My point is we should not dog each other out, no doubt. And that's what I say. I say that we get more accomplished together than we do separated. I say that we need to stop focusing on our differences and stop focusing on the things that separate us. And I say that we should focus on the things that bring us together. Let me read this, because this is Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, right? And this is called the ISIS Papers. And I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with this, but this was published back in 1991. Now, if anyone are familiar with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, may God rest her soul, may she rest in power, rest in peace. She was a historian of sorts, but she worked in the government. And she was familiar with a lot of these COINTELPRO or a lot of these things that were put in place. So she speaks about a lot of that in this book, and the things that were systematically put in place to keep us disenfranchised. What I will say is this: Black people do not have a monopoly on poverty. Black people do not have a monopoly on disenfranchisement. Black people do, and so-called Black people, because again, y'all get into all this FBA and traditional and foundational and all this stuff, and it's bullshit. All of it is bullshit. We have to learn how to appreciate each other for who we are and what we are, and try to work together. All of this dissension, all of this distraction, excuse me, all of this fighting against each other and infighting is not helping anything. All this divisiveness is only going to conquer us and help us conquer ourselves. B Magic said history can never be 100% verified, but it can be an amazing teaching doctrine. Exactly. Eat the meat that benefits us, factual or not. The rest spit out the bones. No doubt about that. I am talking about the African gentleman said, forget the American Black people. We don't want want our help. Hey, listen, that's one person though. My man said, I hate the division as well. My man Jaden Jermaine said, I hate the division as well, unless it's deserved. Yeah. Now, of course, if people are having crazy behavior and having behavior that is not representative or is not complementary to the upliftment of our people or to us growing, of course, we need to disassociate ourselves from them. At the same time, thank you, Barry White. I appreciate the donation. Thank you, brother. At the same time, it's like we cannot continue to fight against each other and think that we're going to get anything accomplished in this land. But yo, let me read this real quick, and then I want to hear what you got to say, because I probably got maybe about 20 more minutes. This is from Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. So y'all see it. I didn't make this up. It's not in Braille. Y'all funny mothers. All right. The origin of alienation, anxiety, and narcissism. August 1980. Dedication. This essay is dedicated to Genevieve Ikeret, a Nigerian journalist who, because of the profound pain of alienation, took her life on June 25th, 1978. While residing in the United States of America, the world lost a brilliant mind and a generous person. Shortly before her death, she stated, "My superstructure is solid. I need a formidable foundation." This essay is my contribution to our understanding of the destructive dynamic of alienation. What'd you say, family? You good? Okay. Yo, shout out to my man Jay Jermaine. He said, I got that book as well, Isis Paper. Yo, shout out to you. Facts. Separate from the people who are the worst of us. Ain't no doubt about it. But we need numbers, because there's power in numbers, yo. There's power in numbers. Hey, shout out to the Real Pookie. The Real Pookie said, "Do I smell a Black House book club coming?" The Real Pookie mentioned that in the chat room, the chat to me. Oh, shout out. Oh, he did. Shout out to you, sir. Okay. Psychiatry as a discipline is floundering on its previously established conceptual and theoretical foundation imported from 19th century Europe. My continuing question to myself, as of the late 20th century, precautionary in general and child psychiatry practicing in the power capital of the world, Washington, D.C., is, quote unquote, can a greater understanding be achieved in the study of human behavior as it is organized and manifested in the world? In the world's dominant power system / culture? My answer is affirmative. That means yes. We can derive an ever-increasing level of order, one of the existing chaos. Excuse me. Let me get this up. All right. A diagnostic and statistical manual that gets heavier and wordier with each effort. Thereby, we can enhance our diagnostic and treatment skills and increase the possibility of prevention, allowing us to serve a suffering humanity better. In Have Astronomers Found God, Robert Jastrow states, there is a kind of religion in science. It is the religion of a person who believes there, in order and harmony in the universe, and every event can be explained in a rational way as the product of some previous event. Every effort must have its cause. Jastrow continues, taking a quotation from Albert Einstein, quote, "The scientist is possessed by the sense of universal causation," end quote. As a social and behavioral scientist, that's who Dr. Francis Cress Welsing was, I am convinced it is possible to understand in depth the pattern and system of behavior encountered in the individual and in the broad collective. My further conviction is that we can serve humankind maximally as behavioral scientists and physicians only when we adequately analyze the foundational causation and logic of these patterns of behavior. Three major foci of attention in Western social and behavioral science, particularly in psychiatry: alienation, anxiety, and narcissism are not unrelated, isolated syndrome abstractions, as they have been discussed by Western social and behavioral scientists. They separately described phenomena are not only interrelated, but they have a common origin and cause. They are derivatives of the same causal dynamic. Although that causal dynamic has remained unidentified, the source of these three phenomena is the origin of Western civilization itself. Alienation in the color confirmation theory. I stated that racism, quote, in brackets, white supremacy, having begun as a form of alienation towards the self, now has evolved into the most highly refined form of alienation towards others as well. The color confirmation theory views all of the present battlegrounds in the world today as vivid reflections of this alienation towards others. The destructive and aggressive behaviors patterns is displayed throughout the world by white people towards all non-white people is the evidence of the inner hate, hostility, and rejection they feel towards themselves and of the deep self-alienation that has evolved from their genetic inadequacy. Yo, so hold on. Yo, bars. Wait, bars. Yo, that man. Yo, that joint is so deep. Dr. Francis Cresswell sing bars. Bars. Hey, listen. So I know a lot of people don't like, that kind of analysis and that kind of reading. That's why a lot of people don't read. But if I could say so myself, I read quite eloquently and quite proficiently. I don't have a 4th grade education, and I am a Black man that can read quite well. So I would like to say that, pat myself on the back. With that being said, thank you, Robert Platinum. He supported your show as well. Salute to you, Robert Platinum. Stan Archer said, at Israel and JP, and this with a few resolutions, you both prove that two men can have a conversation. Salute. Hey, yo, no doubt about it. Hey, JP, listen, I rocks with JP. I rocks, even though I don't agree with a lot of things that he says. Me rocking with him and me being cool with him or liking him has nothing to do with that. I also like Team Fatty. I like him for different reasons. He's entertaining and he's a funny guy, right? But I'm a person that prides myself on being able to separate the message from the messenger. I don't have to agree with any and everything that a man says, because generally speaking, men do not agree with everything that one man says. There's no way that that's going to happen, right? And we have to learn how to take, as my man B Magic said, take the things that we like, take the meat, pause, and leave the bones, right? So all of that was saying, and I know I'm getting long with this, so I'm gonna let you talk, Jay Prince, after this. All of that was saying in the ISIS papers that unfortunately a lot of us have taken on what they call the pale mental mind state. A lot of us, because we so want to be indoctrinated into this quote unquote Western society, we have taken on the mentality and the ideology and the philosophy of the so-called colonizer. And because of that, we're like Neely Foley Jr. said, we're like a person who got up in the midst of a brain transplant in the midst of the damn surgery. Unless you understand white supremacy, everything that you think that you know will only tend to confuse you, says Neely Fuller Jr. Shout out to them. Hey, so what I'm saying to you is we have got to stop taking on their ideology and philosophy. Even when we think we're pro-blackity black, a lot of us are divisive. A lot of us are self-destructive. A lot of us want to take each other down and take each other out instead of work together to accomplish something greater. What say you, family? You muted, Jay Prince.
A few things you were saying. For one, blacks only challenge other blacks, especially when it comes to knowledge and education. And when you speak about this indoctrination, this is my premise. Why constantly on one breath we admit that we all been indoctrinated, but then you get a brother like me not trusting no information and not trying to swallow and receive no more of their indoctrination and try to rise above that, rise away from that via through their education system, through their TVs, through all of their researches, and try to get away from that. I get challenged more from my black people than any other race. And then when those books you talking about, those books that you pull up, and a lot of them was written in the early 1900s, 1913, all the other type of stuff. It's a contradiction to me, because how was they able to write books, read and write books? And one of the major laws was for black people couldn't read and write. And the people that have to publish those books is the government. So those books, I would say those books got to be just made up. They probably put black
wait.
faces on there
Hold on. I gotta give you pushback.
to
That's not
manipulate us with.
that's
Go
not
ahead.
true. Okay, so you realize that slavery was over in the United States in 18.
Yeah, but the Jim Crow days, we still
hold on.
couldn't read and write.
That's not true. Let me finish. You realize that slavery was over in 1865 in America, right? And
Right.
so yes, Jim Crow did happen, but Jim Crow did not officially take place until after the 1930s. There was it was a time of so-called Reconstruction of America, which lasted from 1865. Because you got to remember, there were a lot of things that happened in the United States that were way more important than racial divide. Some of those things included two world wars. We had just got over a civil war in America. Another thing that happened was there was a Great Depression, an economic depression that affected all people, that lasted from 1929 to effectively around 1935, right? And so you have to take all of those things into account. Now, these people right here, I said they were born, like Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan was born in 1918. Dr. John Henrik Clark, God rest his soul, was born in 1915. Dr. Claude Anderson, Ivan Van Sertima, and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing were all born in 1935. So obviously they were born in a time after you could legally read and write, and apparently they were born in a time where you could publish, and you could, because listen, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing passed away in 2016. This book was published in 1991. ISIS papers. Dr. Ben Yakanan passed in 2015. God rest his soul. This book was published in 1972. That's not Jim Crow, okay? Let me see. The oldest of these books, I think, is Powernomics. No, maybe Black Label.
But the books,
Hold on, real quick. This book, Black Label White Wealth, I think is the oldest of all the books that Dr. Claude Anderson have. And this book was published in, let me see. This book was published in 1994. So apparently all of these people were at a time where they could read and write. All of these people were at a time where they could publish. All of these people was, what you call it? Oh, you said, okay, J. Jermaine said I was wrong. Okay, I didn't know. It was an MP. J. Jermaine said I was wrong. Wrong is it happened after 1878. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that was Reconstruction time. My bad. I could be mistaken. My fault. B. Magic said, had black office officials in government in the late 1800s, they could read and write. Won't against the law. Yo, shout out to you, MP. Okay. So there you have it. So that debunks that whole thing about that they couldn't read or write or they couldn't publish.
I wouldn't necessarily say.
And the government doesn't publish books. It's not the government.
What I mean by government is their publisher. What I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it debunked it. This is another thing, and this is why I come from the perspective that I do, especially when we talk about history and stuff like that. Me personally, I'd rather not bite into that stuff what was told to me, even if you put it in the book. Just cause it feels good to my soul, that don't mean it's a fact. Or just cause it make stuff sounds good, that don't mean it's a fact. Neither one of us was there. So I like to go off the best factual information to pass on to people is something that you actually physically done experience or touch. If you're not physically experiencing or was able to touch or was able to see it, you just regurgitating shit that was passed down. And in anything, anybody can make us out of a fool at that point. We don't know half of the people that we reading. We have a lot of those people. We never did resources. We never, searched them and fact check a lot of those sources. And I don't understand how we're gonna be able to get any facts that was happening from all these years and all the way back since when. We just going off faith and hoping that and it sounds good. We don't know nothing to be for a fact, a matter of a fact, meaning that you got the evidence and you seen this, you experienced this, you touched that, or your grandmama seen that and all this other type of stuff. She could bring factual evidence. If you don't have that at that point, you just regurgitating your opinion. You regurgitate maybe an opinion and people beliefs. Beliefs do not mean a fact.
Okay.
Opinion don't mean a fact.
I try not to do that. So what I do is I refer to people who were there.
Because a lot of people don't want to do that because they don't want to admit that we all could be stupid.
Well,
we all could be misled.
Okay, but so you rather go see, this is the issue that I have. And we only have about 9 more minutes because I go pick up my son. Y'all, appreciate you coming through. I appreciate everybody checking this out. So I'll keep it real brief. This is the issue that I have, right? So, and if we can, maybe tomorrow, or maybe another day, we could continue this conversation when I have more time. Are you open to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just say this. We'll do a part 2, but and I really appreciate you, man. This has been a dope conversation. I want to say this. So I refer to people like my peoples, Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington, let's see when Booker T. Washington was born. I think it was in the late 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to be factual. I want to say facts because I know how we are. All right. Let's see. And he actually wrote this in his own words. Booker T. Washington started Tuskegee Institute. What year was Booker T. Washington born? (1856). 1856, Booker Telephone Washington was born. Booker T. Washington. And he died, if I'm not mistaken, it was probably, let me see. He died, and God rest his soul, in 1915. And so during that time, you could write. There's an autobiography of a lot of people. Simon Norfolk is one of them, the one that we know up from slavery. There was people there was a prince, I forgot his name, that was enslaved, and he was a prince in Africa, and he was actually enslaved some type of way, and he wrote his stories. There are a lot of people that wrote their stories. See, there were people, he wrote his story in Arabic. There are people who had their native language and had their native tongue that weren't, like you said this yourself, just because you couldn't read English and just because you couldn't write English does not mean that you were stupid or ignorant. It just meant that you was in a foreign land with a foreign language. So people were still writing in their own tongue and in their own language.
But the civil rights, we was given our rights in 1964.
No. But you no, that's not true though. So then you're negating. So for example, I don't want to go too far away from this. Booker T. Washington was born in the 1800s, died in 1915, started Tuskegee University. He worked with a man by the name of George Washington Carver, who was a so these men left behind legacies, they left behind information, they left behind books such as these that told exactly about their life and told exactly about what they did. So did a man.
No, he didn't leave behind that book. Somebody curated that book.
No. This is his autobiography in his own words. No one curated this. This is his own words. The book from Frederick Douglass, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, was his own words, written by Frederick Douglass himself. God rest
let me ask you a quick question.
Hold on. W.B. Du Bois, these were his own words. Do you know that W.B. Du Bois graduated from Harvard University?
Okay, let me ask you a quick question.
Yes.
One of you found out that Booker T. Washington and the other guy you put up, one of you found out that they never even existed.
Come on.
One of you found out they were just stories.
Bro, they actually existed, fam. Come on, man.
How do you know that for a fact?
Bro, because listen,
I'm challenging your source.
I got you, but okay, so
now you have to prove it.
No, okay, that's fine. There is a record of his birth in America. There's a place called Tuskegee.
You want me to trust American records?
Let me finish. Let me answer your
question.
Biggest
liars on the planet now.
Can I answer your question?
Go ahead, Is.
Especially in relation to Booker T. Washington. There's a place in Tuskegee, Alabama that you can go to this day that was started by Booker T. Washington. So that's it's a monument that's still there to this day that was started by him.
Where his family?
But I don't know. I'm sure I haven't done the research, but let me say this. There was you know how you know who Booker T. Washington was and that he existed? There was a famous speech that he gave in Atlanta, Georgia. It was the Atlanta explosion thing, and he gave a speech, and a lot of black people was mad at him. It was posted in the Atlanta Journal way back then in the early 1900s, and is documented to this day. He existed. He was a person, and he was here.
Wait a minute. What year was the black man that invented the journals?
Bro, come on, man, stop it. I don't know. Come on, now you,
because
the
journals came way later than that, and you said that
journals.
I just think it's crazy that y'all claim this guy, this famous guy, Booker T. Washington, and nobody claimed to even be related relatives to him.
Yo, there are people that claim to be relatives to Booker T. Washington. He had some daughters. There are people but like I said, I haven't done that research, so I don't want to sit there and pontificate about that right now. But yo, listen, my man Justin D said W.E.B. Du Bois died in 1963, man. He went to Harvard, was a Harvard graduate. He started Liberia in Africa, and he literally was a part of the Pan-African movement with Marcus Garvey. Well, Pan-African movement trying to get people to move back to Africa. Because I don't know his exact affiliation with Marcus Garvey, so I don't want to even go down that. I don't know his exact affiliation. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But what I am saying is that these people actually existed, and these works were in their own words. These were not people who saw them, people who knew them. They wrote these books themselves. Okay? So W.E.B. Du Bois wrote his own book. It's called The Soul of Black Folks. Booker T. Washington wrote his own book called Up from Slavery. Frederick Douglass wrote his own book, The Autobiography of Frederick Douglass. They wrote their own literary work, so that's how we know.
I don't know, man. I'm just at a point where now I don't want to just take in information without going deep in detail, checking these people's personalities, who they were as a person, because all of that matters when you're talking about giving people information so they can take that information and lead in their life.
Jay Prince, so you rather just say stuff without any sources and just say
no,
stuff
I'm not. Wait,
Jay Prince, because you have said a lot of stuff out into the atmosphere, and so have people on your platform with no kind of source, with no kind of literary reference, with no kind of scholarship, and they just spouting out things. You would rather go according to that than to go according to things that I've written down. What's up, Mr. Low-Key? What's up, Trucker? Yeah, hold on real quick. What's up, my man Placido? What's up, Jill's Chocolate Boutique? What's up, Pop 925? What's up, T-Dub 09? What's good, y'all? Go ahead.
No, all I'm saying is the information that's been given to us, I believe that they are lies. And since I got the mindset that In order for me to believe something, you're not just gonna give me no book and say, "Here, nigga, believe it." Ninja, believe it. No, I want to check the person. I want to even check the character of the person who they talking about. I want to check the character of the person who writing the book, because one of they was liars, but they just know how to flip and make a good story, or they could tell good stories. It could have been a whole made up story, and we just going around and trying to imply into our lives a whole lie, and it was just nothing but stories because this man know how to tell stories real good. I want to know everything. He could have been a drunk. He could have been a liar. He
What's
could have
up,
been a
Mindset?
thief. He could have been a whole thief, a liar, and a murderer. And yet, you want, just because this happened so many years ago, that I just supposed to just take it in and believe it as if it really existed.
So you rather believe people who don't have no kind of reference, who don't have no kind of reference. You rather believe people in these boxes that don't even cam up. We're talking about PH Diva, right? Was one of those people who was just spewing out stuff. She don't even cam up. So you
I
rather
didn't
believe
even
her.
mention PhD.
No, but I did, because she was one of the ones on your stream that was spewing out
I
ignorance.
told PhD she be regurgitating shit from her education system, her college, her degrees. All of that stuff is just regurgitation shit. None of it could be proven. I told this to Diva on numerous of times. None of that stuff was proven.
What do you
They
tell
never
yourself?
fact checked nobody who even
Wait, but
wrote
what do you
these
tell
books.
yourself? Because you say a lot of stuff that's not.
What if I write a book? What if I write a book?
Hold on. Wait, Jay Prince. In all fairness, right? Because I got to get ready to go, right? But I do want to continue this. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow. Yo, if you have time. AL $2 said, I know people who met the boys. Yo, shout out to you. Chris the Rebel said, JP needs to go to some of these museums. The knowledge is there. He is like everyone else. He don't want to know. It has several scrolls authenticated. Yo, but even let's say this, yo. So Jay Prince,
According
I've
to who
heard
authentication?
Wait, hold on, Jay Prince. I've heard you say a lot of wild things. I've heard you say a lot of salacious things, and they were not. Some of the things I know where you get these things from. Some of the things you say, I say, okay, I've heard this before. Maybe it's not quite as polished, but I get where you're going. So I can say, okay, I got you, Jay Prince. But some of the things that you say are outlandish and come out of nowhere, and there's no substantiation to your argument at all. It's just something that you said, and you cannot cite any type of source to back it up or to substantiate your argument.
Well,
so that's what a lot of people have.
At this point, nor could you recite any source that
I just
to
gave it to
substantiate your. We all going off stuff that we do not know nothing about. We never experienced it. We never lived in those days. And just because you got it from a book and it sounds real good, and there's a lot of books. And when you talk about authentication of who, and this is what I'm saying, like, this not making no sense, and people don't want to find out that a lot of people just don't want to find out that we stupid. We've been misled, we've been bamboozled, and they just give us information, and we just supposed to just receive it. And the people that's giving us information, not even us.
It is us. Listen, everyone. Wait, Jay Prince. I can't let you do. Hold on, fam. I can't let you do that. Everybody who I cited today was a black person, and everybody who I cited today was not only a black person; they were Black Americans. The only two people who might be considered something else, but still grew up in America all their life, was Ivan Van Sertima, number one, because he was born in New Guinea, and Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan, because his one of his parents was from Ghana and the other parent was from Puerto Rico, but he grew up in America and he was born in America. So
let me ask you a question before you go.
Yes, sir.
Have America lied to you before?
Absolutely.
So if have America stolen from you before?
Well, not for me directly, but yes, for my people, absolutely.
Have they murdered people of your race of people before?
Absolutely.
Was you taught not to trust people who lie, steal, and kill?
Absolutely.
So why is you doing it now?
I'm not. Again.
You doing exactly that.
Hold on, stop, Jay Prince. You asked me questions. I answered you. I answered you genuinely, right?
Right.
Let me ask you some questions. Is Dr. Franz Cress Welsing white or a colonizer?
At this point, I don't know what to believe.
So you can, okay, so this is a picture of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who she came on. This is her picture right here. Is she white or is she of like us?
She look biracial.
She don't look no damn biracial, boy. What's wrong with you? Shout out to the answer. Anyway, you're not having a genuine conversation. Never mind. So I'm gonna talk to you later. Hey, yo, shout out to Robert Platinum. She might not even be a PhD. We don't know yet. She's more than likely she's not.
But we just believe PhD was a PhD.
From? We don't know. She's not a PhD. We don't know. There are the type of questions. Those are the type of questions that need to be asked. I know. I'm trying to ask.
Would you believe everything that I tell you?
Yo, come on, man. No, but you're not answering. Listen, you ask me questions.
Yeah, she look like a black woman.
Hold on, stop. Yes, you ask. Yo, go and research it. All you gotta do is look her up online and go and research her. She has documentation online.
That might be true.
So does Dr. John Henry Clark. He looked blacker than you. So does Dr. Joseph Ben Yakinen, blacker than you. Look them up. God rest their soul. Look them up. Do some research, and then maybe we'll come back and have another conversation. Yo, I appreciate you, fam. I gotta go because I gotta go pick up my son. I appreciate all of y'all. Yo, thank you for coming through. Maybe tomorrow we could finish this conversation when we have some time. What you think about that?
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
And I give you some time to research because you need to do some research to mess with me, fam.
I don't want y'all to believe every word for word that I say.
Yeah, we don't. Trust me, we don't believe you.
But if you're gonna not believe what I'm saying, and I'm a live person that you can ask me as parent,
peace, man. I gotta go.
You never even met. One of those people was just like me.
My kid is gonna be. My kid is gonna be waiting for me. Peace. Yo, shout out to Jay Prince. Shout out to Jay Prince. Yo, I'm not messing with him. Yo, we're gonna continue this conversation tomorrow because this was a dope conversation. And it's obviously something that we have to talk about when I have more time. Yo, I appreciate everybody coming through. God bless y'all. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a good night. Yo, check me out later tonight. I will be on the Lapeef Network later tonight. Shout out to Lapeef Jr. Shout out to my man Trigger Mike from the Trigger Mike Show. Y'all subscribe and check me out. Also subscribe to my man Jay Prince. Very entertaining, crazy guy. But, you know, he ain't all the way wrong about some things, yo. And so I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all. Peace.